I'm finally ready to talk about something. Something that I healed when I did the raw vegan cleanse January 2023 for 44 days. Something I did not talk to you guys about when I did my recap video because I honestly was scared to talk about it yet, and I also needed to make sure that it was healed. So it's been 8 months now, and I can honestly say that those raw foods allowed my body to heal itself. And here's the thing, I don't even know what I had. I don't even have a diagnosis for it because I never went to the doctor. And the reason I didn't go to the doctor is because all they were going to end up doing is saying, here's some medicine, or here, let me get an MRI. And then once they do get an MRI, then it's going to be some type of medication. So I was like, what's the point? I said, you know what? I got this. I'm going to do this on my own. I went raw for 44 days. I literally did it for a mind, body, soul reset. But at the same time, I didn't tell you guys this. At the same time, I was also focused on trying to heal that nameless issue I had. So I'll be talking about it within the next 2 weeks. I'm going to make a video finally. I'm ready. So get ready. Let's talk about how powerful food is. Ha! Glory to God. Won't he do it? I would just breathe. I'm just breathing. Lord, help me. Lord, help me. Lord, help me. Make it stop. Make it stop. And it would last for like 60 seconds.
Hey guys, this is a silly disclaimer, but I just wanted to give you a heads up that the camera makes everything look opposite. So when I'm referring to my left side, it looks like I'm showing you my right and vice versa. So just know that when you see me pointing to my left side, but it looks like I'm showing you my right, it's just the camera is backwards, the angle. I don't know what's going on.
Welcome back to my channel, YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am feeling emotional just thinking about what I'm about to talk about, but I'm going to try to just get through this without getting emotional. If I do, I'm not going to edit it out because I want you to see my true emotion, okay? Basically, let's see. I'm going to first give credit to God. God is a healer, and God is the creator of everything. So although I healed with food, God created everything. So I first want to give honor to God for his healing power. Oh, Jesus. See, I'm already getting emotional. Okay. I have notes here because during the time I was dealing with what I was dealing with, I was tracking it because I was trying to monitor how often it was happening and, trying to see if it's getting better. Okay. Let me just get myself together real quick. Okay. Sorry. No, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. Excuse me. Okay, so let's back up. Food is powerful, you guys. God is all powerful. But God allowed this food to heal me. So food is also powerful. Raw food in particular. I don't have a diagnosis because I never went to the doctor to find out about it because I already knew the result was going to be, oh, let me get you an MRI or, just, hey, here's some medicine or whatever. So to me, it didn't matter if I had a name attached to it or whatever. I just knew it was something that needs to be healed in my body. And I've healed myself with food before, so I wanted to try it again. Let's go back. August 2022. No, actually, it was July 2022. I don't know if I was dealing with stress or something at the job I was at the time, but these things started going on in my body. It's hard for me to describe it. It was so painful. Okay. God, just thinking about it just makes me emotional because it hurt so bad. Okay, so in July, these things were happening, but it was very light and low key. Okay, so it was on my left side, my whole left side. And it was feeling like somebody is pulling my nerves in my upper body while someone else was pulling my nerves and my legs in my lower body, but in different directions. And then going back and forth, like my body was contracting or something. But it was very low key in July. Okay, I didn't track it in July. I didn't start tracking it until August. So it happened about 4 or 5 times in July, but it was very light and subtle. Okay, it was just like one day I was at Trader Joe's and I was walking, and then I just had this feeling,
And I had to stop for a second because I couldn't understand what was happening in my body. I didn't recognize this. I was just like, what's happening right now? I just stopped and I just like breathed, and I was just like, Lord, what is it? Make it go away, make it stop. Okay. Then it happened a few more times in July. And I was just like, I don't know what this is. So then August came. I had lost my job. I left a job of 5 years for a new job, and then in the first month it was kind of stressful, which is when these things started. In August, I lost my job August 1st. I got laid off because there was not enough work. These things started a week later, more intense. Now, I don't know if I was stressed indirectly, or not indirectly, but just not knowing I don't know. But I lost my job. A week later they started, but they were not like they were in July where they were like subtle. This now it's intense. I was just applying to jobs that day. I went in the room to get ready and it started. I had to lay down. Now, beginning in August, I was not able to stand up while it was happening. In July, they were subtle. I could stand up and I just stop and breathe through it, right? But in August, now I have to lay down. The moment I start feeling that it's about to start, I would just go lay down immediately, because within 15 seconds, there's no way I could be walking while that's happening. So what it was happening was, again, feeling like they would last for like 60 seconds ish, maybe even 2 minutes. And it would hurt so bad. Okay. So again, it just felt like my left side was contracting or something, and it's going intensely for like 60 seconds. So my upper body is like going against my lower body. It's like it feels like, and then it would make my hands, like do this or something while it's happening, and then my feet would do the same thing, because it's like, I don't know. I don't even know what it is, right? But my upper body and my lower body were like going to war against each other. And it would go on so intensely for like 60 seconds. And all I could do is just lay on my side and breathe through it. And it was so painful. And it would last. I would just breathe. I'm just breathing. Lord, help me. Lord, help me. Lord, help me. Make it stop. Make it stop. And it would last for like 60 seconds. My husband only really knows about this. I told my mom, but I only told her about it like one of the times. I didn't keep telling her about it over, because this lasts for 6 months. I didn't keep telling her it was still happening or following up with her or updating her. I didn't tell anybody else, just my husband. I told my sister and my mom once, but I don't think they understood what I was dealing with, because I didn't really get into detail. I just told them that XYZ happened. And honestly, it's kind of similar to something I dealt with like 14 years ago. So I kind of told my mom, it's almost similar to that, except for it's on a different side, a different side this time. But anyway, so the only one that really knew that I was dealing with this, as long as I was dealing with this, was my husband. Okay, so anyway, so in the first month in August, it happened 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, I'm sorry. 8, 9, 10. It happened 10 days of August. But in those 10 days, there were some days where it happened multiple times in a day. You guys, it got to the point where I was scared to do things and go places. And if I did go places, I always had to pray and just be like, Lord, please don't let it happen while I'm out. I was scared to drive sometimes, because if it happened, it's almost like I lose control of my left side, and I can't do anything but just breathe, because it's like my left side is, I don't even know. It was horrible for those 60 seconds or 2 minutes or however long it lasted. But I couldn't pinpoint what causes it. Sometimes it would just be, I'm getting dressed, or maybe I just did a silly IG dance video or something. And here's the deal. Like once it was over, I was fine. So, during these 6 months I was suffering with these things, I'm still making my content, because again, these things are not like
lasting the full day. It would be like 60 seconds or whatever at, you know, even if it happened like 4 times in a day, you know, it's like it goes, I go through it, I lay down, I'm breathing through it, I'm in pain, I'm crying, and then it would stop, and then I'm fine. As soon as it's over, you know, I go on about my business. So I was still creating content, I was still going places and everything. And I would just always pray, God, please don't let it happen. But it did happen in public a few times. So I don't want to go through each day what I was doing when it started, but I'm just, yeah, I remember times where I was working out, like lifting weights, and it started in the time I was lifting weights or stretching and things like that. I'm sorry, you guys, I'm just trying to look. So here's the big day that this day was horrible. This was the most horrible day. My husband's birthday was on September 2nd. He was in Reno with his dad. That was our first time not being together on his birthday, but he went out there that night. That was First Fridays. I went out with a friend of mine, had a great day. I didn't have any of those episodes. We were fine. And then after me and her left, you know, we walked to the BART station, to the train station, and her train was coming downstairs. Mine was on the level. And, you know, I said goodbye to her. We said our goodbyes and everything. And then those things started. And this time, normally it only happens once and then it stops after like 60 seconds. I might have more than one in a day, but they are never back to back. This time I'm at the train station and one started. I breathed through it, and here I'm a germophobic, but I had a bag in my purse, so I had to get down on the floor, and I felt disgusting because train stations are just nasty. But I had to get down on the floor. I had this bag. I put it down so I can lean on it, lean to the side, because I have to kind of lean because it's doing this. My hands are like this, my toes are all like this, and I'm just kind of like on the floor, just leaned over, just breathing through it, and I'm just like just sad because I was in pain. It was hurting, and then it stopped. And so I got up, and then it started again, and I was just so confused because I'm like, why is this happening again? It literally happened 7 times in a row, you guys. I don't know what was going on. First of all, I had a 30-minute train wait for my train. So I was going to be down there a while. It just happened like 7 times in a row, you guys. And I was crying because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know why it was happening back to back like that, literally 7 times in a row. Most people would have called the 911, but I was just like, honestly, my first thought was my insurance just ended. Because my insurance ended literally like 2 days before, because I got laid off on August 1st. My insurance was good until the end of the month. My insurance just ended. I wasn't on my husband's insurance yet, so I didn't have insurance. So I didn't want to call 911 because I didn't want to have this major bill. And again, what's the point of calling 911 and going to the hospital just for them to end up doing an MRI to just give me medicine? So I just like, what are they going to do for me? And I didn't even call my husband because he's in Reno. I didn't want to ruin his birthday. I didn't want to say, baby, this has happened. I was so emotional, and I didn't want to mess up his birthday. I didn't want to call anybody. You know, my friend was still downstairs waiting for her train. I didn't call her to come up here and help me. I just dealt with it myself. And I was so scared because it happened back to back, where and this is the night that was really scary because it started happening on the right side too. It was like happening on this side, and then it was just something was going on the right side. It was like, I don't know what was going on. I was being attacked on both sides, and it was causing my body, it was causing me to walk like I was trying to get up and walk out of the view of other people. I didn't want people to see me, and I literally was walking like I was handicapped. You know how somebody walks like they're handicapped? Like, it was like everything was pulling away from each other in my body where I can't even describe it, you guys. But if I didn't know myself and I saw myself walking, I would have thought that I was handicapped the way I was walking. By this time, the train is coming. I didn't want to walk on the train and people see me walking like that, but I had to. So I just slowly walked onto the train, and in that weird kind of way, because like although I wasn't having the episode at the time, my body was still like, I don't know, it was still like a after I don't know, I don't even know, you guys. It was like my body, I don't know, I just felt handicapped at that moment. And my leg on both sides, I was walking funny. I got on the train, and now it's settled. It started to settle as I was on the train ride going back home. By the time I got to my destination, the whatever was going on, the attack in my body, it stopped. So I was able to walk to my car because I parked at the train station, and I was okay. I didn't tell my husband. All I did was, I think that was the first time I told my mom. I told my mom and my sister because we were supposed to go to lunch the next day, and I texted them and I told them what happened, and I said I need to cancel lunch because I don't know what just happened to me and I don't want it happening in public, so I canceled. That was the scariest day of my life, you guys. It was just very unfamiliar. I didn't know what was going on. I had been, at that time, I had been dealing with these for like a month and a half, but normally, again, it would only happen once, and then it would stop after like 60 seconds or so. If I did have another one in the same day, it was like, moments later, not back to back. So it was very scary. It was back to back, and it was making me walk like I was handicapped. I was so scared, you guys. I was so scared. I was by myself at the BART station. I'm like way at the end, trying to stay away from people so they don't see me. I had to keep getting on the ground because when they kept happening back to back, it was so scary, you guys. So I didn't tell my husband until he got back the next day from Reno. I didn't tell him until after he got back. I didn't want to mess up his birthday. I just didn't want to tell him. I mean, what could he have done anyway? Like, I mean, yeah, so he drives back from Reno just to be with me, but being with me didn't heal me. So it's just like, what's the point of calling? I didn't want to mess up his birthday, you guys. And I was fine. By the time I got home, I was fine. And matter of fact, that weekend, I was fine. I ended up going to lunch with my mom anyway. I was fine that day. I didn't have any episodes. The next day, I went to the Berserkly Festival, and I was fine. So I don't know. Okay, so here's the deal. In August, I said it happened like 10 of the days of August. Now we're in September. So September, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the days, right? So now it's the amount of days it's happening is less. So it went from 10 days in August to, what did I say, 7 or 8 days in September. And then by October it went down to 2 days, right? So I'm like, okay, okay, it's getting better. Now, I hadn't started the raw vegan cleanse yet, you guys. I had just started like eating more raw, even more raw, but I hadn't gone fully yet. So in October, I'm like, oh, it only happened 2 days this month. Okay, it's getting better, And then it started having big gaps in between the times it was happening. So I'm like, okay, it's getting better just from eating more raw food. And then in November, it only happened 2 days, 2 different days. Now, mind you, some of these days, it might have happened. No, it didn't. Not in these months. I was going to say some of the days happened more than once, but not in these days. Okay, so there was times where it happened and nobody even knew. One time well, let me go in order here. Okay, so now I'm going to move over to December. It happened 2 days in December. I was at a skating ring, and I was there with my cousin and my friend. And mind you, they don't know anything about what's been going on with me. I didn't tell anybody except for my husband, my mom, and my sister. And my mom and my sister didn't even know that I was dealing with it as long as I was dealing with it. I only told them about the one episode. So, and my mom, was telling me to go get checked out, go to the doctor, which I never did. But I kept saying I was going to, but I just never did. And so I'm skating, right? Mind you, now this is December 21st, and the last time I had one was November 12th. So it had been over a month since I had one, and I'm thinking I'm better.
I'm thinking I'm better because it's been over a month since I had an episode. So I'm like, oh, I'm good. I'm better. I went skating that night and I'm just skating, having a great time. And then one of the times I went around, I started to feel it. I started feeling it. It's about to happen. I had to hurry up and get off of the skating floor. And I immediately went into this little secluded area by the arcade. Nobody could really see me. I just like skated and just laid out literally on the floor. I'm laid out on the floor and it's happening. I'm breathing through it. I'm asking God to help me, make it stop, because these things hurt, you guys. Like on a scale of 1 through 10, the pain level was 20. Like every time, except for that first month I told you guys, the pain was so intense. If there was a gun next to me, I would shoot myself because it was so damn painful, you guys. Like literally, like to just what's that word? I would probably shoot myself because I couldn't handle the pain. It hurt so freaking bad, you guys. And all I could do is cry every time it happened because it hurt. So it's like my body literally is like somebody is pulling me, pulling my body parts and my nerves and everything inside in different directions, away from each other, then back together, then apart, then back. And it's like, and I don't know, it's painful. My hands would always do this kind of, and it would straighten up on the side of my body. Like, you know, I literally would be like this on the ground, laying down. So I'm at the skating ring on the floor, people walking past me. I don't even think they saw me. I was trying to be in a place where people can't really see me. And if they did, they probably just thought I was on the floor stretching or something. So it happened at the skating ring. I didn't even tell my cousin and my friend that happened. If they happen to see this video, it's going to be the first time that they knew about it. So that's the kind of stuff. Now, mind you, like that was the first time it happened, like 6 weeks or so. So I was thinking I was better. And then okay, so I had one on 2 days later. Okay, so now December 23rd was the last time I had one. And because I kept having them, like it would go long periods without it, and I'm thinking I'm better, I was like, you know what? I need to heal this once and for all. I don't want it to just go 6 weeks without it and then it comes back, or, you know, a month without it and then it comes back. So that's when I decided to do a fully raw cleanse. So December 23rd, I had the episode, and then I decided to go on the cleanse on January 1st. On January 1st, that made about a week since I had one, right? So January 1st, I started my cleanse. I hadn't had an episode since December 23rd. And then I'm looking at notes, you guys, my little journal. And then so it had been getting better, but it still wasn't gone completely. So I started the cleanse, and then I had an episode 6 days into my cleanse, then another 6 days, and then another 8. So I was like, what's going on? I'm eating raw, and now I'm having them. Mind you, I had been, the time in between had been getting bigger and bigger. So for it to happen 3 times in like 2 weeks or so, in the first 2 weeks of my cleanse, I was getting discouraged because I'm like, it's not working. This raw cleanse is not working. It's not healing me. But little did I know that third one that happened was the last one that I had. What was happening was my body was going through a cleanse. So I think, you know, sometimes they say when you're going through a cleanse, you have a healing crisis, things get worse before they get better. So that's what happened. Like I'm having these things like kind of not back to back, but just like so close in the days when it had been getting bigger, a bigger gap in between. But now I'm on this cleanse. I have one on January 6th, the 12th, and the 21st. When before the time, now I didn't go over all the dates, you guys. I was just telling you about a few different dates, but I was literally, you know, dealing with this from July of 2022 until January of 2023. That's like 6 months. My last one was January 21st. It is now September 14th. So it's been 8 months. Now let me tell you about the last time I had one. Guess where I was at? My husband was performing that night. There's a place, if you're from the Bay Area, called Jeffrey's in Oakland, California. this is a night where I had to really play it off because I didn't want anybody to know. I'm having a good time now I'm on my cleanse. I'm on my raw food cleanse. I'm having a good time. My husband's performing. He's doing a great job. And I'm sitting with his family. I'm sitting on this one chair, but I'm only one on the chair. And I'm having fun. And then I felt it coming on. I was like, oh my God, please, no, Lord, no, Lord. I'm like, literally like, no, Lord, please, no. And then it started. And, I always said I always have to lay down when it happens because I can't just sit up. You just can't sit up. You just can't. And you can't stand up or whatever. So I had to I'm sitting on the chair. I just kind of, scooted to the front of the chair so that I could be at an angle. And I literally was like this, trying to make it look like I'm sitting up, but not all the way. So it's happening. My arm is straight. I'm wearing boots. My toes are all doing that thing in the boots. My arms are down and I'm literally doing this. Now the music is loud so people can't hear me breathing and stuff, but but I didn't have my eyes closed. I had my eyes open so nobody would figure out there's something going on with me. And I'm literally like, and whatever happens in my body is happening and it's really intense. It's hurting like hell. I'm praying to God to make it stop. And no one even knew. I didn't even tell my husband that it happened. Literally, I just told him about a week and a half ago that it happened at his gig. I don't know what we were talking about, but I said, I think we were talking about how God, I'm healed. I got healed through food from these things, whatever they're called. I don't even know what they're called. And I told him that I actually had one at your performance. I didn't even tell you. I didn't tell anybody. So these things happen in public a few times. And I try my best not to allow people to know what was going on because I just didn't want to draw attention. I don't know. But I will just say that thank you, Jesus, for your healing power. Thank you, raw food, for your healing power. There was a time I was on IG Live. I had came back from a walk and I was on IG Live and I was about to go in the kitchen with the people that were watching and it started. I didn't even say anything. I just hung up live. I didn't have enough time to talk. I just had to hang up so I could hurry up and go somewhere so I could lay down and breathe through it. Yeah, it happened in public quite a few times and it was just horrible, you guys. I'm just thankful that food is so powerful. So, again, I started the cleanse on the 1st. I did raw for 44 days. The last one was January 21st. And then, I didn't have any more. And I just wanted to say that God is good. During my cleanse, I was even documenting my journey. If you go and watch my playlist, the 44 days raw, you would never know that I was dealing. Well, by the time I started raw, I only had it 3 times. But I'm just saying, even before the raw cleanse, just all my content, you would never know that I was dealing with that because of course I wasn't making the videos when I was dealing with it. It would be, after, before, whatever, when I was feeling okay. I literally, after it was over, I would just go back to business as usual. I might have made there was a few times where, never mind. I don't want to get into all that, but, here's the thing. Here's something. I was very brave and took a chance. Last September 2022, someone told me about an audition and I really wanted to do a fashion show because I hadn't done one in so long. And I was really nervous about doing it because I was like, what if I go out on the runway and it starts in front of everybody? What if that happens? I was like, I don't want to do that because I'm scared. But I took a chance and I just prayed before the fashion show and I asked God to please just help me get through this without any of those episodes. Just help me to be okay. Touch me from the top of my head to the soles of my feet, Lord. Just let me be okay. And I was okay. I actually did the whole fashion show. I didn't have any of those things happen that day. Again, it didn't happen every single day. In those 6 months, it did not happen every day. And like I said, the first month, it was going from 8 to 10 days to 8 days to 2 days to 3 days, so it didn't happen every day, but I was always scared to do things because I was always fearful that it would happen. But there was times where God spared me and there was times he didn't. And thank God that I'm not dealing with that anymore. And I just want to say there's power in food, you guys. Go check out my 44 days raw to see like the types of foods I was eating that allowed my body to heal itself. I was basically just eating a lot of fruits and vegetables and salads and smoothies and ice cream and stuff. There was a few things I made, like if you want to call it gourmet raw, but other than that, I was just keeping it really simple and easy. And those foods allowed my body to heal itself. God allowed the food to allow my body to heal itself. So thank you. At least I didn't cry the whole video, you guys. I know I was emotional in the beginning, but I made it through without crying the whole time. It was a very hard time in my life, you guys. That 6 months when those things would happen, they were the most pain. I don't know. I'm just going to say they're the most pain I've ever dealt with. I don't know what other people have gone through. I just know for me, it was a different type of, it wasn't like oh, I got hit in the arm pain. Oh, I hurt my lower back pain. It wasn't, it was a whole nother level, and it lasted for 60 seconds. It was intense. It was like my body was contracting on one side, and it was very, very, very intense. And it was so painful, you guys. Level 20 out of 1 through 10, like literally. But God got me through it. I breathed through it. I made it. My husband was supportive. Oh, that's another thing. So I'm going to say like out of 30 days that it happened, say like I had it, say like those things happened like 40 times. I don't know the number. I didn't count it all, but say like it happened 40 times. He only witnessed it about 5 times. It just seems like I was always away from him when they would happen. Like he would either not be home when it happened, or if I was out and about and it happened, he wasn't with me, but he did happen to be at home like 4 or 5 times when it happened. And he really helped me through it because, like I said, the pain level is so intense. So if I'm laying down and I'm dealing with it, he would like rub my left side, just rub it like during the whole time that is happening, just kind of like helping me. I don't know. It didn't make the pain lessen, but it just, I don't know, it helped me. So he was very supportive and just helping me through it those times that it happened in front of him. And yeah, I literally did not talk to anybody about this except for him. And then I told my mom and sister, but again, they didn't know I was dealing with this for a whole 6 months. Never really followed up about it. I just kept telling my mom, I'm gonna go to the doctor. I'm gonna go to the doctor. I never did. I don't have a diagnosis. I don't know what was wrong. I just know that I wanted to heal myself naturally. I didn't want to go to the doctor just to get some medicine. I just wanted to heal my body with food. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So thank you guys for watching. Again, did I say raw food is powerful? If I didn't, let me just say that again. Raw food is powerful. It's so powerful. So I just wanted to share that with you guys because, you know, healing is a big thing, and it could be a testimony for someone. I don't want to hold that in. I wasn't going to bring it up, you guys. But I feel like I should say something because there's somebody else. You might not be dealing with that particular issue, but you might be dealing with some other ailment. And maybe you just need to hear this message that raw food has power. And maybe you can try it. I mean, I've healed. One time I had headaches every single day for 4 months. I went raw for 42 days and they stopped. One time I had vertigo. I went raw. It stopped after 6 days. You know, there's times where I had flare-ups of chronic pain from an injury. I go raw, it gets better. I've had sciatica before. I go raw, it gets better. So there's power in foods, okay? So I hope this touched someone. Sorry it's so doggone long. I thought I was going to try to make a long story short, but I didn't. And I am not about to do this again. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoy. Check out my Instagram and my TikTok. It'll be in the description below. If you like, well, this is not the kind of content I always talk about, but if you like plant-based, high raw, vegan lifestyle content, follow me or subscribe. Check me out on Instagram. I post more on Instagram and TikTok, and even more on Instagram. It would be Instagram the most, then TikTok, then YouTube. And yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next time. God bless.